Hey, what's up you guys? It's Tyler from the Harringtons and we're back today with a brand new video. And in today's video, I'm gonna be breaking down all of the gear we use to shoot weddings, especially all the new gear we have for the 2019 wedding season. Every year during the off season, we always upgrade a few pieces of gear and incorporate those into the way that we work on a wedding day. So what I thought would be fun was during this video would be just to go over all the different gear that we use, because it's been a while since I've kind of updated you guys on the gear that we're actually using. And instead of just doing a normal what's in my bag type video, where I just kind of go through every single piece of gear in the bag and just say like, these are the cameras and these are the lenses, I thought it'd be more beneficial to kind of break it down based on the part of the actual wedding day and how we use all the different pieces of gear. I think it'll be more beneficial for you guys to see not only the gear that we use, but kind of when and how we use it. So this is not gonna be an in-depth review of each piece of gear and like a how-to or anything like that. Some of the different pieces I do have videos on that I've made in-depth videos about in the past. So those videos will all be linked either in the description or with a little card if there is one that exists. And a lot of them I plan on making videos on in the future. So if I do make a video on it, I'll make sure to come back in the future if you're watching this sometime down the road and add some links into that. Another thing to note is that all of the gear, everything that I mentioned here can all be found in our kit page, which will be, it's just right here. It's this is the URL right here, or it's also linked below in the description. If you do want to pick up any of these items that I mentioned, using that kit page and using our Amazon affiliate links gives us a little bit of a kickback from Amazon and is super helpful for us and doesn't cost you guys anything extra. So if you do want to buy anything, if you could buy it through those links, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, so the first category I want to talk about is our daily loadout. This is basically what Ash and I have on ourselves that we carry with us for the majority of the day. And this is stuff that we're gonna use to shoot pretty much, I'd say about 80% of the day is gonna be shot carrying just what we're carrying. So this is gonna be things like bridal prep, hair and makeup, any sort of details, establishing shots during the day, for the first look, for reception details, for the reception itself, even for parts of portraits. Like this is kind of just like our go-to, what we're always carrying with us. And then every once in a while, we'll sort of supplement other things in. So for me, the camera that I'm carrying throughout the entire day is the C100 Mark II. That's my baby. I love my C100. The microphones that I have on top, because the C100 has two XLR audio slots, I'm actually able to carry two like forms of microphones throughout the day. So my shotgun mic that I have on top of my camera is the Rode NTG4 Plus. I use that for scratch audio, and I also use that to capture the notes. And then in my second audio slot, I have the receiver for the Sennheiser AVX wireless kit. So that's a really awesome option, able to have both of those on there. The camera is sitting on top of the Manfrotto monopod. I've been using the same Manfrotto monopod for 6 or 7 years now. It's absolutely fantastic. It is my weapon of choice for most of the wedding day, and it has been serving me well for many, many years. The lens bag that I carry is a messenger style bag. It's made by Ona and it is the Union Street. It's an awesome little shoulder bag. I really like it because it has 3 slots where I can keep lenses. It also has a good pocket on the front. I do have a video about this one, which again, you can see linked down below. Inside the bag, I carry 3 lenses at all times. So 1 on my camera and 2 in the bag. The lenses that I'm carrying are the Sigma 18-35 f1.8. It's a really fantastic fast zoom. It's only for crop sensors, which is kind of a bummer, but it works perfectly on the C100. The Canon 50mm 1.2L. This is by far my favorite lens to use on a wedding day. It has amazing bokeh. It's just the perfect focal length for the way I like to shoot. And I've had this lens also for 6 or 7 years. It's an amazing lens. I also carry the Canon 85mm 1.2L. Again, I just love the bokeh of this lens. I love the way the 85 looks paired with the C100. And I use this for lots of different things throughout the day, but this is also a really great lens. It is focused by wire, which I don't absolutely love, but the bokeh and how amazing it is kind of makes up for that. At the beginning of the day, I always make sure that my bag is loaded up with a few extra things that I just know I'm gonna need to have on me throughout the day. These include things like extra batteries for both the C100 and the EOS R/5D Mark III, the AVX wireless kit. I have the lav mic and the transmitter in there that I can always have at the ready whenever I need to throw it on somebody to grab some audio. I have my memory card holder with all my extra memory cards, just in case for some reason I need a memory card and I can grab it really quickly. I keep my sunglasses and I keep some mints, because if you gotta talk to somebody, you gotta make sure your breath is smelling fresh. So that's everything that I carry with me on the wedding day. Again, that is always with me pretty much throughout the entire day, with a few exceptions here or there where I might set the camera down or whatever. But for the most part, that is my loadout that I'm rocking for the entire wedding day. And if I absolutely had to, I could shoot an entire wedding day with just those things and nothing else. Wouldn't really want to, but I definitely could. So as far as Ash goes, she also has a loadout of things that she carries. It's slightly different. So she, for camera, she has the Canon C100. She has the Mark I. She's using the exact same Manfrotto monopod. We both rock the same monopod. And then she also is carrying a little Ona bag. Hers is called the Bowery, and it's also a messenger style bag, but hers only has 2 slots, a little bit smaller. Inside of her bag, she carries 2 lenses at all times throughout the day. She carries the Canon 35mm 1.4L, as well as the 85mm 1.8. She just switches back between those 2 lenses. She doesn't need the super wide like I do with the 18-35, and because I'm almost always on the 50, it doesn't really make sense for her to carry one as well. So we found that it works well for her just to have those 2 lenses, and she can kind of go back and forth between those depending on if she wants more of like a wide or a tight. And there's a little bit less decision making that has to go into that. Inside the bag, she also carries a survival kit. Now, this is one of the best things that Ash carries throughout the entire day, and it seriously comes in handy so many times. She has a little survival kit that is little odds and ends of things that we found that bridesmaids or just people on the wedding day in general kind of always are looking for and needing. And so she put it all together in a nice little mesh bag so she can always have it with her. Inside of there, she has things like scissors, bobby pins, a little sewing kit, hair ties, band-aids, a Tide to Go pen, some ibuprofen, safety pins, and dental floss, which is to help get stuff out of your teeth, but also we've used for lots of other things. Like one time the shoulder straps on the dress were too short. We needed to make it a little longer so it would look better on the hanger. We used some dental floss for that. That was great. But just having that little pouch, she carries it with her at all times. It's just really great, and it saved our butts in a lot of really quick situations where we needed one of those little odds and ends things. In addition to all those things, she also carries a clipboard, and on that clipboard, she has things like the bride and groom's questionnaire that we can refer to throughout the day. She has the timeline and just like important phone numbers and addresses and all those different types of things. I have all those things digitally. I like to use that in Evernote on my watch. So that's just kind of one of those ways that we work differently, but it is nice to have the physical copy of it just in case on the wedding day. A new item that we've started incorporating for the end of 2018, but really for 2019 that we both are carrying at all times is walkie-talkies. We ran into way too many situations over the years where we're trying to use like crazy hand signals, or I'm standing over here trying to wave my arms like this at Ash and look like a crazy person. So we decided, you know what? We're gonna get walkie-talkies so that we can talk to each other throughout the day, because as you guys know, when it comes to filming weddings, there's a lot of communication that needs to happen between your first and your second shooter, and it's really hard when you're all the way across the room or in different parts of the hotel or whatever. And we ran into so many situations where we didn't have cell phone service, or we can't make a phone call during a ceremony or whatever. So we invested in some walkie-talkies, and it has been fantastic. I can get Ash's attention at any time. She can get my attention at any time. The walkie-talkies we have are really great. They have a 38-mile range, which is crazy. We've never had to test that out, but they do work in different parts of hotels or buildings or things like that. So we've been loving the walkie-talkies. The ones that we have are the Midland X-Talker T71 VP3, again linked below if you want to find that exact one. They're $79.99 on Amazon. They have a 38-mile range, and they use rechargeable batteries, which is really nice. We also got the Midland AV-PH3 transparent security headsets. These are about $30 on Amazon, and basically you look like a Secret Service agent because it's just that little clear earpiece that goes in one ear with the little cord that goes into for me, goes into my shirt. And then it just has like a little button that I can clip right here near my tie that is the kind of push to talk button. That obviously is really important for a wedding day because you don't want the speaker of the walkie-talkie to be blasting when you're talking to each other. So definitely suggest getting those. It definitely makes you feel more legit, and they've been working really, really great. All in all, not a super high investment for the return that we've got. So we've been loving having those this year. So the next big thing to talk about is going to be our gimbal setup. Now this is actually brand new for this year, and I'm really, really excited about it. We've shot a couple weddings already with this setup, and I've been really loving it. So we had been using the Sony a6300 for the last couple of years, but this off season we purchased the Canon EOS R, and I have been absolutely loving this camera. I'm not going to get too much into it because I am in the process of making a full review on that, which if it's not out at the at the time you're watching this, definitely check below because it's coming out really soon. We've been rocking the EOS R on the gimbal and it has been fantastic. The lens we use for that is the Canon 24-70 f2.8L, which is a really versatile lens. It's really great on the gimbal. And I think 2.8 on a full frame sensor like that is just the perfect depth of field for not having it be too wide, but still give you like a really shallow depth of field in certain circumstances. So I've been loving the flexibility of that lens because I can get some really wide, walking shots or establishing shots, but also zoom in and get those really nice portrait type shots. So I've been absolutely loving the 24-70 paired with the EOS R, and the autofocus is perfect. So great. The microphone we use for that is the Rode Video Micro, just that little guy that goes on top, just so we can have better scratch audio. We have it laying around and it actually helps balance the camera a little bit better because it adds a little bit more weight on top of the body to offset how heavy the lens is. So that's part of the reason why I use it, also just to have a little bit better of audio. The gimbal that we're using is the Zhiyun Crane 2. Now I picked this up last year, I believe, and I had been using it for more commercial shoots and things like that, and I'd put my C100 on there. So I already had that laying around. We had been using the Zhiyun Crane, just the original crane with the A6300, but the EOS R and the 24-70 would be too heavy for that little gimbal. So we have to bump up to the bigger brother, the Zhiyun Crane 2, and that's been working great. It is a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. The whole setup is a little bit heavier, but it's not nearly as heavy as the 5D Mark III and GlideCam HD 4000 combo I was using before all this, so I'm still okay with it. Right now, I'm rocking a 64 gig card in the EOS R, and I have filled that up on the last 2 weddings, so I might bump up to a 128 gig. We'll see. Sometimes I just put another 64 gig in there and call it good. But yeah, and throughout the day, I'm switching back and forth on the EOS R between 24p and 60p depending on the situation, and the same thing with the C100 Mark II. I will bounce back and forth between 24p and 60p kind of depending on the situation. The drone that we're using this year, we also used most of last year, is the DJI Mavic Air. And I really love this drone. It's teeny tiny. It fits perfectly into our bag with the drone and extra batteries and the controller and everything. Just kind of all fits seamlessly within all the rest of our gear within our big bag. So I really love the size of it. The Wi-Fi connectivity between the drone and the controller is not always the best, especially in cities or heavily populated areas. It's enough range that I can make it work for what I need for weddings. If I could go back in time, I kind of wish I could wait for the Mavic 2, which I know uses a different type of frequency and has a much stronger signal. So, but I love the Air. The quality is great. The size of it is amazing. It's perfect for hikes and traveling and things like that. So I really love the Air. I just wish that Wi-Fi connectivity was a little bit better. Paired with that, we do have a set of polarizing filters that we use that also are NDs, and that just helps so we can have a more correct shutter speed throughout the day. Primarily shoot the Air in 4K 30p, so I can slow it down just slightly, still shoot in 4K, and get some nice, smooth, awesome looking shots. So between all those things, between the 2 monopod setups, between the gimbal and the Mavic, that's pretty much what we're using for a large portion of the day. The only other time that we have a few extra pieces that we'll pull out here or there are for some of the big moments of the day. So that's gonna be for the ceremony and the reception. So first off, we'll talk about the ceremony. So for the ceremony, we always are rocking a 3 camera setup for the ceremony, plus the gimbal for sort of like the processional and the recessional. But we always have a wide sort of safety shot set up in the back. And our wide safety shot that we're using this year is the 5D Mark III with a variety of lenses kind of depending on the situation. For the ceremony, that's all going to depend on how many rows there are between the back and kind of the front. So this will vary anywhere from the 35mm up to an 85, sometimes the 100, kind of just depends on what we're going to need. Usually for the ceremony, we're kind of playing a little bit of like musical chairs with all the lenses, kind of swapping them around between who needs them what for certain scenarios. But in the back, it's always gonna be the 5D Mark III. Our bride angle is gonna be up on the side. We're rocking the Manfrotto tripod that's self-leveling. Again, the exact one is gonna be on the screen here. But on that tripod, we have the 70-200, that we have the 2.8 non-IS version 1. I bought that so long ago. That was one of the best purchases I ever made for my business. Ashley's over there with her C100 Mark I, rocking that on that angle. On the GROOM angle, I'm rocking the C100 Mark II with my 100mm macro. The reason for that is because it's the longest prime lens that we have, and I want to get as close to what I can as possible. We've been talking about buying another 70-200 for a while, which if we ever did, that's where it would go. Right now, the 100mm works. It gets me close enough. With the crop on the C100, it's about 160mm, so it gets the job done. So I have that over there. Audio-wise, we kind of, again, the ceremonies we're using the most probably different audio sources. So on the GROOM, we're always using the Tascam DR10L. Love that little recorder, super reliable, great quality, cheap, affordable, awesome little recorder. So that's always on the GROOM. On the Efficient, we're using the AVX wireless kit, and that's piping into my C100, so I'm able to monitor those levels from my camera at any point during the ceremony, which is just really nice to have. We use the Tascam DR40 as our field recorder, and we'll use that if we're able to plug into the sound system, or depending on the scenario for the ceremony, whatever that might be. And then if there's like a podium or a live band or anything like that where we're not able to tap into like a sound system, but we need to have an extra recorder in that general area, I'm using the Roland R05 with just the built-in mics, just so I have something I can kind of throw over there and either throw on a podium or throw near those band members to get another audio source that's nearby. It's not going to be as good as like tapping into the board, but it's better than just our shotgun mics, which are, really, really far away. So that's pretty much it for the ceremony. Like I said, I do use the gimbal, which the gimbal setup doesn't change throughout the entire day. So I do use the gimbal for the processional and the recessional, a few maybe extra B-roll shots, and maybe like wide pans of the whole, if it's a pretty church or if it's a really scenic ceremony site, I'll use get some wide shots during the ceremony with the gimbal, but that setup doesn't change throughout the entire day. And then lastly, we have the reception. We do light all of our reception. So the lights we're using are the Felix P360s. I really like these lights. They're small, they are bright, they are color adjustable, and they just work. I really like them. The stands we have them on, I'm not even gonna mention them because they're literally falling apart. I've had them for so long, but they weren't very nice to begin with. They were air cushioned off of Amazon, but I think they were like 20 bucks. So we need to actually buy new stands because they're literally falling apart from traveling all over the world with them. But any kind of light stand will do because the P360s are really small and light, which I really like. So we're gonna buy some new light stands. In terms of audio, again, we're using the Tascam DR40 for tapping into the DJ or the band soundboard. The cables that I always carry with me to make sure I'm ready for any scenario are gonna be an XLR cable, a 1/4" cable, and an RCA cable. Make sure you have all three of those because then no matter what happens, no matter what sort of setup you're working with, you'll pretty much always be covered. So always carry those with me. In terms of the different events throughout the ceremony, we do deliver full dances for a lot of our packages. So we always have one wide like safety shot for all the dances. And that again is gonna be the 5D Mark III. And usually we've been rocking this year the 28mm 1.8 prime on there. It's just super simple little setup that we kind of throw off to the side of the dance floor just so we have that wide safety shot that's shooting the entire time, so we can easily cut between the wide shot. Ash will stand right next to that with her 85mm on her C100. And between the tight shot from the 85 and the wide shot from the 28, we can pretty much cover the entire dance with just those two cameras for the full delivery. And then I have been staying on the gimbal because now I can zoom in and out between 24 and 70 on the EOS R, and I'm zooming in and out and I'm getting wide shots, tight shots, moving shots, static shots. I'm kind of getting all the different creative shots that we're both going to kind of cut into the full ceremony cut, but also that are just more for like the highlight film and those types of things. When it comes to toasts, we also have a 3-camera setup for this. We always have a reaction cam on the bride and groom. This is going to be the 5D Mark III with the 100mm macro, and I put this on just a little tripod and I kind of just position it somewhere in the room so that it's focused on them. It's just a nice clean shot. And I use the 100mm macro because I can have it a little further away and kind of keep it out of the way from it being right up in their faces, but still have, a nice, waist up reaction shot of both the bride and the groom. The main angle that we use for the toast giving, okay, most of the time, again, everything is kind of subject to change depending on weird circumstances and weird looking rooms and stuff like that. But the main angle is going to be Ash with their C100 Mark I, the 70 to 200, and that's going to be kind of focused on the person giving the toast at all times. And then the secondary angle / like my roaming angle is going to be staying on that monopod using my C100 Mark II and the 85. I love shooting through heads and through like centerpieces and kind of shooting that like dirty frame for the second kind of reaction camera / secondary angle for toasts with my monopod and just kind of rocking that 85. It looks super, super nice with the bokeh and all that sort of stuff. So that's it as far as the reception goes, and that's pretty much it for the entire wedding day. You know, like I said, between the two C100s and the gimbal, that makes up 90% of everything. We just have those few extra little moments during the ceremony and the special moments during the reception where we'll break out the 70 and 200 or a few extra little other cameras and stuff like that. But for the most part, we try and keep it as simple as possible. We do love shooting on prime, so we have maybe extra lenses that some people may not have. But we really love the results we're getting from this setup, and I think that it just really works for our style and what we're trying to provide to our clients. Now, the coolest thing about all of this is that we've packed it all up and got it down into 3 bags, which is great. We used to actually have so many bags that we'd bring on a wedding day. It was ridiculous. We've got it all down into 3 bags. So our big main camera bag that has pretty much everything in it in terms of like lenses and cameras and the drone and extra cables and batteries and chargers and like all that sort of stuff goes in our Think Tank Logistics Manager 30, which is massive. And I'm pretty sure this thing weighs 60 pounds, but everything fits in there, and it's really nice to have everything all in one place so you don't have to worry about the one bag. All of our extra stuff, our stabilizers, monopods, tripods, bags, light stands, all those different things we actually put inside of it's a golf bag case. So it's a case designed for a golf bag, but we put all of our stuff in there and it all fits perfectly. That also weighs probably between 60 and 70 pounds. It's very heavy and not for the faint of heart, but it all is in those 2 bags. And then the third bag / case that we have is the case that came with the lights. When we bought the P360 kit, it came with this nice hard rolling case. So between those 3 things, then the only other bag that I carry when we're having to like pack up is going to be my backpack, which has my laptop in it that I use for the same day edit, and my iPad is also in there that we use to show the same day edit. But yeah, so between those like 4 bags, that's pretty much all we need for a wedding day, which I know sounds like a lot because it kind of is a lot, and we've tried paring it down over the years, but we've just found that this system for 2019 with the current gear that we have works really well, and we're really, really happy with the results that we've gotten so far for this year. So that's it. That's everything that we use on a wedding day. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. I think this way of approaching this is more helpful than just a what's in my bag kind of video. If you guys have any questions about anything I mentioned at all, please leave a comment down below. I love talking about gear and stuff, so I'd love to answer any questions you might have. Like I said at the beginning of this video, if you're interested in purchasing any of these things or just want to see the exact links or the exact model numbers of anything, that kit page is going to be where you want to go. And like I said before, if you click on any of those links and purchase anything, we do get a little kickback from Amazon, so we'd be really, really appreciative if you did that. That just helps us out. It doesn't cost you anything. It's just helpful for us. So definitely go check that out if you have if you want all those different links. But yeah, guys, this has been Tyler from the Harringtons. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.